Hey, what's up, everybody? I haven't posted in a while, but that does not mean that the Lord has not been talking to me and teaching me lessons. So I want to kind of pass these things on that the Lord is kind of telling me about. The Holy Spirit is teaching me to you guys in hopes that, of course, I want to encourage everybody out there that things are gonna go well for you, even though it doesn't look like it's gonna go well for you. I can totally empathize with that, whoever out there is feeling that, but also to continue to rely on the Lord even when you're not hearing anything, even when the situation seems bleak, because I've been dealing with that lately. So one of the things that I wanted to give you guys an update with was the one video that I put out there. It was the dream. I had a dream of Tammuz. So when I had first initially had that dream, I made a video about it, and I kind of just explained the dream. I didn't really understand a whole lot about it. But what I've come to understand is, after I did a little bit of research, is that Tammuz was a Mesopotamian god, and then his wife was Ishtar, and supposedly his father was Nimrod, who became Gilgamesh when Nimrod fled the Tower of Babel. Once it was destroyed by God, he went over to Mesopotamia, he kind of founded Babylon, became Gilgamesh. So kind of took on a whole new identity. But really, that dream, I think what the Lord was trying to tell me in that dream, the overall message was that the old ancient gods are reappearing in the United States. The pagan gods of Mesopotamia, of Babylon, of the pagan gods that were surrounding the nation of Israel, that the Philistines worshipped, Moloch, that the other, the Hittites, all the ites that surrounded Israel, all these pagan gods that they worshipped, they're all making an appearance in the United States, and they're making an appearance around the world. They're kind of coming back in sorts. So when I had made that video, a couple days later, Jonathan Cahn actually was making his rounds, and he made some announcements on Sid Roth, I think, first. And he just came out with his new book, The Return of the Gods. And this was a couple days after I had posted my video of the dream of Tammuz. So I feel like the Holy Spirit was kind of talking to maybe multiple people about this. So Jonathan Cahn kind of comes out and he talks about the Dark Trinity, which is Ishtar, Moloch, and Baal, I think was his Dark Trinity. But the Lord really pointed out Ishtar and Tammuz to me, at least. So Ishtar and Tammuz, the Mesopotamian legend kind of says that Tammuz kind of meaned like the beautiful young ones, or the beautiful young one. He was seen as a beautiful young shepherd, kind of an ode to a Messiah, like Jesus type figure, a shepherd who brought about the abundance of the harvest, like in the springtime. Now, when Tammuz died and went into the underworld in the summertime, it kind of signaled the drying up, the dying of the harvest, which happens in the Middle East and in the Mediterranean region in the summertime when everything kind of goes dry. So his death kind of signals the death and the drying up of the harvest, of the grain. So he's kind of seen as a shepherd figure. He's kind of seen as like an agricultural god, or maybe a god of the goats and the cows and the livestock as well, which is kind of interesting because Jesus is also that pastoral Messiah figure, and that kind of just tells you that the adversary is always trying to rip off who Jesus is and kind of make a false idol out of him. So in my research, Tammuz kind of stood out. And in the dream, it was a gay man who actually gave my son a gift from Tammuz. It was a gay man that I had known, or that I know of. And I think what the Lord was trying to tell me was the gay community, and as inflammatory as this might sound, the gay community, I think, is being used or being hijacked, or they're just accepting some of these pagan ideas or doctrines, and they're perpetuating it in the United States. Ishtar is associated in Mesopotamia with a rainbow. Now, Ishtar is, she's kind of seen as like a fertility god in Mesopotamia. She kind of took on, the Greeks kind of took Ishtar and they made Aphrodite out of her. So, and Tammuz was, Tammuz in the Greek was, who was Tammuz is somebody. So Tammuz was like the god of like narcissism in the Greek. So pretty much they get taken from Mesopotamia. The gods get repurposed in Egypt. They get repurposed in Greece. They get repurposed in Rome. All of these kind of pagan cultures repurpose these same gods that all come out of Babylon, all come out of Sumeria. So, but with Ishtar, she is seen as like an androgynous god. So she has both male and female attributes. And we're seeing kind of in the LGBTQ community, or maybe more so in American culture, we're seeing this idea of gender fluidity and sexual fluidity. And I really think what the Lord is trying to show his body, his church, is that these ideas are being taken, they're being brought into the United States through certain groups, and they're being entered into the culture. And they're trying to be forced on the culture. They're trying to be taught, and people are trying to educate people on these things and kind of teach people that this is truth and this is fact. But really, it's a pagan religion being forced onto the American people. It's a pagan religion that is being introduced into the school systems, and our kids are kind of being taught this. And there's certain groups like the gay community, LGBTQ community, which is kind of like an accumulation of different groups, really. It's not just one group, it's just groups of people who are kind of grouped together, which that's a whole nother thing in and of itself. Jesus looks at the individual, he doesn't look at the group. So every human being is going to have a different heart, different beliefs, and Jesus looks at the individual, and he saves the individual, he doesn't save the group. So, but really bringing it back to this idea of Ishtar being an androgynous being, and we see that introduced into the culture. And I think what the Lord was showing me in the dream was that certain groups are bringing in this idea, these pagan religions, these pagan ideas, and they're introducing them to the young people. And that's why in the dream it was this gay person giving my son a gift. My son's like 2.5 years old. So it was really just the introduction of these ideas, these gifts, these all kinds of things, anything you want them to be, but introducing them to the young ones of our generation, the young ones in the United States, the ones who are going to kind of bring about the new generation of culture in the United States. It's being introduced and kind of being educated on them. It's not really coming in on the older generations like the baby boomers or the ones before them. It's being introduced to the young generation that's coming in the United States. So I thought it was pretty interesting when I had made that video, and then Jonathan Cahn comes out and announces this new book that he's been working on. I thought it was pretty interesting. He does that a few days later after I got this pretty vivid dream of the gift of Tammuz. So it's just confirmation that the Holy Spirit is kind of telling the church as a whole information. The Holy Spirit is warning his church about large threats that are coming against the church, that are coming against the United States, that are coming against the nations of the world. So I thought that was pretty interesting there. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on some of the things that the Lord's kind of showing me. I'm going to do another video on what the Lord kind of was teaching me about kind of a very depressing time in my life. I'm going to make that video, and hopefully that can be an encouragement to people, how the Lord will still talk with you even when you're in kind of a real dark place. So I hope you guys are doing well. I love you guys, and I'm going to keep making content for this video. I'm going to keep allowing the Holy Spirit to just talk to me and then just relay that message back to you guys. All right, love you guys. Bye.